Hello students, it's Nazia Begum here, your physics lecturer, welcoming you all in today's lecture. Today we are going to start chapter 8, which is electromagnetic waves. In chapter 7, two topics are left, that is AC generator and transformer, which I left purposely because in second volume one chapter is there, electronic devices. We are going to continue those two topics in that chapter. Okay, when we study about electronic devices, then I will tell you about AC generator and transformer as well. And today we are going to study about electromagnetic waves. So first let's see what is electromagnetic wave. Electromagnetic waves are nothing but the waves which are present here because of two fields. One is electric field and second is magnetic field. If magnetic field and electric field are present perpendicular to each other, then they are generated a wave which is called electromagnetic wave, and this wave is perpendicular to both of them. Okay, so basically electric field E, magnetic field B, and the electromagnetic wave, they all are perpendicular to each other. So all these three can be represented by three axes. If suppose electromagnetic waves are propagating in x-axis, as you can see in this figure, so the electric field will be in y-axis and magnetic field will be in z-axis. So by this representation you can understand that all these three things, they all are perpendicular to each other. Now one important thing to keep in your mind, that a time varying magnetic field produces an electric field and a time varying electric field produces a magnetic field. That means if any one field is present here, other field always will be present, because one type of field produces other type of field. So that's why electromagnetic waves are always present if any one field is present there. And the speed of electromagnetic waves is similar to speed of light. So at any point in space, E naught upon B naught equals to C. Okay, the ratio of electric field to magnetic field is equals to the speed of light, which is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So how can we define electromagnetic waves? The disturbances consisting of fluctuating electric and magnetic fields perpendicular to each other, as well as the direction of propagation, satisfy the same wave equation. Okay, if any fluctuating field is there, any electric field is there, so because of that magnetic field will be generated, and if they are perpendicular to each other, they satisfy the condition of production of electromagnetic waves. So that kind of disturbances are called electromagnetic waves. Now don't get confused when I am using the word disturbance, because the production of waves are because of disturbance only. Okay, waves are because of disturbance only. So if any disturbance is there in fluctuating electric and magnetic fields which are perpendicular to each other, so that disturbances are electromagnetic waves. Now let us discuss some characteristics of electromagnetic waves. The first property is that electromagnetic waves consist of time varying electric and magnetic fields such that the two fields are perpendicular to each other, as well as the direction of propagation of electromagnetic waves. So this thing we have already discussed, and we have seen in the representation of electromagnetic field as well, that the electric and magnetic fields are time varying, that means they are changing with time, and their direction is perpendicular to each other as well as perpendicular to the propagation of EM waves as well. Second point, electromagnetic waves are produced by accelerating or oscillating charges. So this second property is actually telling you about the source of EM waves. So what are the source of EM waves? They are accelerating or oscillating charges. Okay, EM waves are produced by accelerating or oscillating charges. Third point, electromagnetic waves do not require a material medium for their propagation. So basically they are non-mechanical waves. Fourth, all EM waves travel in free space with a constant velocity c equals to 1 upon under root mu naught epsilon naught, which is equal to the velocity of light 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. In a material medium of permittivity epsilon and permeability mu, the velocity of electromagnetic wave becomes V equals to 1 upon under root epsilon into mu. So the velocity of EM waves basically depends on the permittivity and permeability of the material medium. That means it is not constant, it can change. In free space, it is equals to speed of light. In other medium, it depends on their permittivity and permeability. What is permittivity and permeability? That we have already discussed in our initial videos. Okay, in chapter 1 or 2, we have discussed that in detail. Fifth point, they are transverse in nature. So what is nature of EM waves? It is transverse. Sixth point, the electric and magnetic field, that is E and B, oscillate sinusoidally in the same phase. Okay, both the perpendicular fields, electric field and magnetic fields, they are in same phase and they can be represented by sine waves. The ratio of their amplitudes in free space at any time is E naught upon B naught equals to C, which is equals to 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Seventh point, they carry energy and momentum from source to a receiver and exert pressure, which is called radiation pressure on the surface on which they are incident. If U is the total energy transferred to a surface by an EM wave in time t, then the magnitude of the total momentum delivered to the surface on complete absorption is given by P equals to U upon C. Okay? And it is important to note that when we allow sun's light to be incident on our hands, they get warm. It is because the energy is absorbed from EM waves. In sunlight, electromagnetic waves are there. When they strike to our hand absorb the energy and that's why they become warm. But we do not feel radiation pressure, and it is because the radiation pressure is the order of 10 to the power minus 6 Newton per meter square, which is too small to be felt by human beings. That's why many sensitive devices are there which can sense their pressure, but we cannot. Okay, so we absorb their energy, we feel the we get pressure also, but we can't feel them. Eighth point, electromagnetic waves obey the principle of superposition and exhibit reflection, refraction, interference, diffraction and polarization. So whatever phenomena light is representing, they all do the same. Ninth, the optical effects of electromagnetic waves are due to its electric vector E. Hence, E is also called a light vector. So if you are able to see the EM wave, okay, whatever optical effects are there. Optical effects mean whatever effects we have observed in point 8, we have discussed the reflection, refraction, they all are because of the electric field. So electric field E is also called light vector. 10th, the nature of electromagnetic waves depends upon their frequency. Keep this point in your mind, okay? And whatever points I have discussed, you all have to keep that points in your mind, because now the pattern has changed and in examination many 1 mark question is going to be asked, are going to be asked, and in those they can ask any characteristic, any principle, etc. Okay, so be very careful about them. Now the next topic is electromagnetic spectrum. This spectrum was predicted by Maxwell, okay, and then Hertz have done so many, Hertz have added so many other things in that. What is a spectrum? See, in 10th point, we have seen that the nature of electromagnetic waves depends upon their frequency. So, different type of EM waves having different frequencies are having different type of properties and are used for different purpose. So, according to their frequency or wavelength, we have arranged them in a proper manner. That arrangement is called spectrum. So here you can see definition of electromagnetic spectrum. The electromagnetic spectrum is the orderly arrangement or classification of electromagnetic waves according to their frequency or wavelength. Here we have one table in which this arrangement is given. According to wavelength and frequency, we have classified different waves and their sources are also given here. Here you can pause the video and read what wavelength range they are having and what are the sources of different waves. Now let's discuss about different waves in brief. Okay, so the first one is gamma rays. In electromagnetic spectrum we have gamma rays first, and here you can see they are emitted by radioactive nuclei during certain nuclear reactions. So their source is nuclear reaction. They lie in the upper frequency range of the spectrum and their wavelength ranges from about 10 to the power minus 10 meter to less than 10 to the power minus 14 meter. They are highly penetrating and cause serious damage to living tissues and organisms. Since they destroy the tissues, that's why they use in treating cancers. Okay, cancer cells are there. So these rays are used to kill those cancer cells and tumors. Here you can see uses of gamma rays are given. So first is treat cancer and tumors in radiotherapy. Second, preserve the foodstuffs for a long time. Actually what happened when gamma rays penetrate the foodstuff, because their penetrating power is very high, so they kill all the germs and bacteria, and foods can be stored for very long time. Third, initiate some nuclear reactions. And fourth, provide information about structure of atom and nuclei. Second ray is X-rays. X-rays are emitted due to the deacceleration of high energy electrons bombarding a metal target. When metal is bombarded with high energy electrons, that time X-rays are emitted. They also have high penetrating power and they lie in a wavelength range from 10 to the power minus 8 meter to 10 to the power minus 13 meter. Like gamma rays, they also cause damage to living tissues and organisms, but they are not that harmful as gamma rays are there. Then uses. First, they are used in medicine and surgery. In that field, they are used as diagnostic tool in medicine, such as detection of fracture, cracks in bones, foreign matter like bullet, etc. in human body, because they penetrate the tissues, so they penetrate from flesh. But if any other foreign elements are there in our body, they cannot penetrate them and the image is formed there. Okay, as well as they cannot penetrate the bones, but if there is any fracture or crack in bone, so they penetrate from that place, and we can see that we will get one image in which we can see that from which places they are penetrating. So according to that, they give a very clear picture inside our body what things are there. They are also used as a treatment of certain forms of cancer. Second is engineering. Because of their penetrating power only, X-rays are used in industry for detecting faults, flaws and cracks in finished metal products, and also for the testing of welding, casting and molds, etc. Third is detective agencies. X-rays are used to detect arms, explosives or any other contraband goods. They are also used by Custom Department for detecting gold and silver in the body of smugglers and to distinguish between real and artificial diamonds and gems. Fourth is scientific research. X-rays are also used in studying structure of crystals and structures and properties of atoms and molecules. After that, at third we have ultraviolet rays. They are produced by very hot bodies. So what is the source of ultraviolet rays? Hot bodies. Okay. Then sun is a very important source because that is the hottest body present here in solar system. Their wavelength range from 10 to the power minus 7 meter to 10 to the power minus 9 meter. Exposure to these radiation results in the production of more melanin. This in turn causes tanning of the skin. So if you go in sunlight and become tan, it is because of ultraviolet rays only, because they are helpful in producing melanin. Most of the UV radiation from the sun is absorbed by ozone layer, and that's why we are safe from so many hazardous effects of UV rays. Now let's see their uses. They are used to study photoelectric effect. They are used for sterilizing surgical instruments, killing bacteria in drinking water and preserving foodstuff. They are used in detecting of invisible writings, forged documents and fingerprints. UV absorption spectra is used in studying the structure of molecules. In LASIK, that is laser assisted in situ keratomycosis, is used for eye surgery. Then there is infrared waves. Infrared waves are produced by hot bodies and molecules. Their wavelength range is from 10 to the power minus 3 meter to 10 to the power minus 6 meter. They are readily absorbed by most materials. So whenever you keep your wet clothes, you hang your wet clothes in sunlight and they get dry, so that is because of infrared waves only. Infrared waves are absorbed by your wet clothes and they become warm, and that's why they dry up. Okay, so whatever bodies are there around infrared waves, that bodies absorb that waves and their temperature increases. That's why IR waves are also called heat waves or thermal radiation. Now let's see their uses. They are used in greenhouse to keep the plants warm. They are used in solar cooker and water heaters. Infrared photographs are used for weather forecasting and used in warfare to look through haze, fog or mist. Infrared lamps are used in physical therapy, that is to treat muscular strains. Infrared absorption spectra is used to study the molecular structure. They are used in remote switches of electronic systems. Then there is visible light, which is produced by excited atoms and molecules. Its wavelength ranges from 4 into 10 to the power minus 7 meter to 7 into 10 to the power minus 7 meter. Visible light is the part of the electromagnetic spectrum that human eye can detect. Other part of electromagnetic spectrum is not easily detectable by human eye, but visible light can be detected. Human eye is most sensitive to yellow-green light. Uses: first, it creates the sensation of sight and enables us to see the world around us. And second, it is used to study the molecular structure and arrangement of electrons in external shell of atoms. The next is microwaves. Microwaves are produced by special vacuum tubes called klystrons, magnetrons and gun diodes. Their wavelength ranges from 1 mm to 30 cm. Their uses: microwaves are used in microwave ovens. They are used in radar and geostationary satellite. It is because of their short wavelengths that they can be focused into narrow beams and transmit signals in a particular direction. Third, they are used to observe the movement and detection of the speed of trains. Fourth, they are used for studying atomic and molecular properties of matter. Then the last part of spectrum, radio waves. Radio waves are produced by accelerated charges in connecting wires of LC circuits. Their wavelength ranges from 10 to the power 3 meter to 10 to the power minus 1 meter. Uses: they are used in radio and television communication systems. Radio waves of different frequency ranges are used for different communication systems. These are: first, AM band, which is called amplitude modulated band. It ranges from 530 kHz to 1710 kHz. It is used in ground wave propagation. Second is short wave band, and they are used in sky wave propagation. FM radio band, that is frequency modulated radio band. They are used for commercial FM radios. And TV waves. The frequency of these waves ranges from 54 MHz to 890 MHz. Then there is one table which is telling us about different types of electromagnetic waves and their detection. You can pause the video and read that. Okay. So this is it for today's lecture, and with this we have completed this chapter as well. So in this chapter you have to study about what is electromagnetic wave, their characteristic properties, different parts of electromagnetic spectrum, and most important thing, their sources and uses. From this chapter mostly the uses are asked. So be very particular about which wave is used for which purpose. Okay. So this is it for today's lecture. See you in next lecture. Till then, goodbye, take care and do some productive work.